Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Know Thy Enemy Week 3 edition as the Bengals look to take on the Washington Commanders. I'm Evan McPhillips, your host. As always, this is presented by the Right Way Sports Network. And each week in Know Thy Enemy, we take a look at the Bengals' upcoming opponents, analyze the good, the bad, and where the Bengals can find success attacking them in their upcoming matchup. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the upcoming opponent, the Washington Commanders. Obviously, there's a lot of hoopla and hubbub about rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels, former LSU star, coming to town to take on Joe Burrow, other former LSU quarterback star. Obviously, he's looked a lot like a rookie. It's tough when you get to the NFL and people throw you in the water and you have to sink or swim and you're just trying to keep your head above water, especially in such a difficult position. Jayden Daniels definitely looked sped up, looked a little bit erratic in his first week, but he made some strides from week 1 to week 2. Looked a lot more comfortable, especially versus the blitz. Now up to 9.5 yards per attempt versus the blitz, getting comfortable, kind of taking some of those other downfield shots, taking away some of what the defense gives him, recognizing those blitzes, feeling more comfortable dealing with pressure, not scrambling as much as he did week 1. So you can see his internal clock is slowing down a little bit. He's feeling a little bit more comfortable. But ball security is still an issue for him. 2 fumbles and a turnover worthy throw in his first 2 weeks so far. 15 of his 22 completions have that are past the line of scrimmage have come between the numbers. So attacking the middle of the field a lot. It's a comfort zone for him. And a lot of passes have come at the line of scrimmage. I believe it was somewhere close to 18 have come at or behind the line of scrimmage. That lends itself to some of the leading receivers for the team who are surprisingly not Terry McLaurin, who has been a standout in the NFL since coming out from Ohio State. It's not been Noah Brown, the former Texans and Cowboys receiver who cooked the Bengals last season to a tune of over 170 receiving yards. No, the leading receivers for the team are Austin Ekeler and Zach Ertz. Austin Ekeler is the real receiving threat on this team at present as Jayden Daniels continues to get more comfortable and they expand the offense a little bit. He's had an explosive reception of 20 plus yards in each of their first 2 games, and he leads the team with 99 receiving yards. Looking at Zach Ertz, he's been the quarterback's best friend on these check down and these short routes. He's been that safety blanket for him, garnering 8 catches on 90 yards, leads second on the team in receiving yards. Terry McLaurin has 12 targets and 8 catches for just 39 yards this season, averaging about 4.9 yards per reception. I expect that to significantly change as some of these deep routes they just either haven't connected on or they just happen to be the instance where Terry is covered or Jayden just doesn't quite make it to those reads. He ends up scrambling or checking down or doing something else. And I think that's going to come with more comfort, with more time. I think Terry McLaurin's time is coming. I don't think there's anything wrong with him or his relationship with Jayden Daniels. I think this is just a matter of time. Obviously, we talked about Noah Brown, a talented receiver who's bounced around with multiple teams, has had a couple different 100 plus yard outbursts, but is largely not a tremendous threat week to week for teams to really be concerned about or worried about. The real offensive threat that is consistent on this team is Brian Robinson. The team has started to lean on their run game to help aid their rookie quarterback, and Brian Robinson has returned that investment and probably tenfold, 20-fold. I don't know what exact number you want to put on it, but the former Alabama running back has garnered 5.8 yards per attempt, which ranks 6th out of 50 running backs this season. He is here to show that he can continue to carry the workload and be the primary back for the Commanders. Very excited for him in that regard. He's also top 5 in runs of 15 or more yards already this season with 4. So not only finding ways to be consistent, but finding ways to be consistently explosive on a team that has had offensive struggles and issues, a team that didn't score a touchdown in their win over the Giants, who kicked a lot of field goals, but they were able to do that because they continued to get little chunks of yardage through Brian Robinson, through the run game versus the blitz and get themselves into scoring position. The interior of the offensive line for the Commanders is solid and stable. It's nothing to write home about, but it's not the putrid offensive line that some of the other teams have had to deal with in the NFL right now. However, the weak links are the offensive tackle spots where you have a rookie 3rd-round pick in Brandon Coleman, and then you have Andrew Wiley starting at right tackle opposite of him. Those two have given up a combined 9 pressures in the past 2 games, and we know with how Trey Hendrickson has looked this season already, in peak season form already, with everything he was doing to the Chiefs last week, getting their rookie benched. Maybe there's more of the same in the future for the Commanders here, as Brandon Coleman will have a very, very tough matchup against Trey Hendrickson, where the Bengals can absolutely exploit the Commanders. Looking now at a defense that has been much maligned this season, Bobby Wagner, yes, that Bobby Wagner is still playing, is still kicking, is still a good run defender. He's got 8 defensive stops on just 11 tackles this season. Very impressive. Although he has lost a step athletically, he is starting to accrue more missed tackles than you would expect from Bobby Wagner. He's also lost a bit of a step and can be attacked in coverage. That is definitely somewhere the Bengals can look to target when they are passing. On the defensive line, Dorrance Armstrong and Deron Payne combined to be the predominant pass rush threats for the Commanders. Both of them are over 13% pass rush win rate this season, which is pretty good, above average, but is not anywhere near Chris Jones level. So I don't think the interior is going to be under as much pressure and as much of a threat as they were versus Chris Jones and some of these other very talented pass rushers. Keeping that in mind, we look at the secondary now where they have really struggled. Former first round pick has not really been able to see the field. And Emmanuel Forbes, he's had 34 total snaps, has been really unfortunate in those snaps as well, garnering just a 30 coverage grade for PFF, 33.5 overall grade for PFF, continuing where he left off from a disappointing rookie season. Fortunately, Benjamin St-Juste has been a stabilizing force for them in the secondary. But outside of that, Percy Butler, Jeremy Chin, Quan Martin, these are safeties that they've relied on to kind of help plug the gaps in their defense, especially on the back end, with very mixed results. Outside of Benjamin St-Juste and Percy Butler in about 45 snaps, the secondary has been absolutely putrid, with rookie cornerback Mike Sanristil out of Michigan really struggling to get his footing to start right now. Noah Igbenamide doing as much as he can out there right now to try and help out in this putrid secondary, but they are really struggling to find their footing. Really, really had problems stopping that passing attack with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans in week 1, probably as a result of being very aggressive, trying out some of these blitz looks. As they became more conservative on defense, they had more success versus the Giants. We'll see if they can continue that trend versus the Bengals. Keeping all those things in mind with the Commanders, we can talk about keys for the Bengals to win the game. What's the script for the Bengals to try and achieve victory and coast to what they need to be and where we expect a team of their caliber to compete against a team like the Commanders? Well, the first thing is containing the run game, right? Because we know Jayden Daniels is a threat to scramble, and the Bengals have often struggled to stop these scrambling quarterbacks. You're going to have to contain them, maintain your lane and gap integrity like you did versus Pat Mahomes very, very largely. Try and limit him, make him beat you from in the pocket, make him go through his reads, try and make him push to the boundary where he doesn't have as much comfort or as many completions and has had issues with just finding consistent passing game success, pushing to the boundary and outside of the numbers. You also need to try and stop Brian Robinson. I know with Pat Mahomes, I said, hey, make sure they give light boxes, try and have Isaiah Pacheco get the ball, take the ball out of Pat Mahomes' hands. Here, you want the ball in Jaden's hands. You want the turnover worthy plays, the fumbles, the indecision, the rookie factor to weigh in and rear its ugly head at some point. So you want to take away what they can rely on, make them uncomfortable. That'll be taking away Brian Robinson in the run game. They did a pretty good job of limiting Isaiah Pacheco. That they need to continue to do that. They need to continue to make tackles. They need to continue to rally at the line of the scrimmage on these short plays to make sure that they're not allowing more yards and they're challenging the Commanders to beat them through the air. Attack the secondary. I can't say it enough. The Bengals are one of the most predominant passing teams. They're built to pass. Jamar Chase has had trouble as he's been double teamed constantly and kind of bottled up and been very frustrated. I think this is the game where he breaks out because this is a really, really, really unfortunately bad secondary, and they're going to have plenty of opportunities with Andre Yoshivas, with Mike Gesicki, with Eric All, maybe Jermaine Burton to attack all the different areas of this secondary. I think that the Bengals are going to need to try and stress the communication for the Commanders. That's been an issue where trying to pass things off out of bunch sets, off of using motion, they've struggled to maintain the integrity of their defense. So I think that's a way that the Bengals can definitely screw with the rules and stress the communication of the defense and end up getting some busted plays, some busted coverages, and some free easy yards, or at least some one-on-one opportunities for guys like Jamar who don't always get them. I think on that note, they also need to maintain the use of motion and the use of 12 personnel that they had in the Chiefs game. It gave Joe Burrow a lot of early tells. The 12 personnel lent itself to the Chiefs getting a lot more out there with base personnel in the terms of 4-3, not the nickel. And when they try and match personnel, that's when they can do the play action shots. That's when they can get some of these short checkdowns that go for yards because you've got these slower, not so athletic coverage guys. If you're trying to have Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner, who are good run defenders, chase all the way out to the flats and follow and chase Eric All and Mike Gesicki and all these other guys, that's going to be very challenging for them. So I expect to see the Bengals try and attack the linebackers, try and attack the secondary, because everybody outside of that front four can be taken advantage of on this defense. And for one of the most pass heavy teams in the NFL, I definitely expect the Bengals to put the gas to the floor, pedal to the metal on this one, throw the ball, get their confidence and their offense sorted out, get Jamar Chase happy, get him on the board. And I think the Bengals are really, really in a prime position to explode in terms of the passing game this week versus a secondary and a back seven that has really struggled for the Commanders. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to TWSN for presenting this show. And please like, subscribe to the channel, help us to continue to bring great content like this to you. As always, Hoo Day.